Hello and welcome to the celebration of the birth of the Bab. The Bab was the herald of the Baha'i faith. In the midst of the 19th century, one of the most turbulent periods in the world's history, a young merchant announced that he was the bearer of a message destined to transform the life of humanity. At a time when his country, Iran, was undergoing widespread moral breakdown, his message aroused excitement and hope amongst all classes, rapidly attracting thousands of followers. He took the name the Bab, meaning the gate in Arabic. With his call for spiritual and moral reformation and his attention to improving the position of women and the lot of the poor, the Bab's prescription for renewal was revolutionary. At a time, he founded a distinct, independent religion of his own, inspiring his followers to transform their lives and carry out great acts of heroism. The Bab announced that humanity stood at the threshold of a new era. His mission, which was to last only 6 years, was to prepare the way for the coming of a manifestation of God, who would usher in the age of peace and justice, promised in all the world's religions. Bahá'u'lláh.
Namamu kesembuhanku ya Tuhanku, dan mengenang di Kau obatku. Dekat padamu harapanku, dan cinta padamu sahabatku. Rahmat-Mu padaku kesembuhanku, dan pertolongan bagiku, baik di dunia ini dan akhirat. Sesungguhnya Engkaulah yang Maha Dermawan, yang Maha Tahu, yang Maha Arif. Thy name is my healing, oh my God, and remembrance of Thee is my remedy. Nearness to Thee is my hope, and love for Thee is my companion. Thy mercy to me is my healing and my succor in both this world and the world to come. Thou verily art the all-bountiful, the all-knowing, the all-wise. Thou verily art the all-bountiful, the all-knowing, the all-wise.
Is there any remover of difficulties save God? Say, praise be God, He is God. All are His servants and all abide by His bidding.
Hamna Dewa lahu subhana lahu fala. Kodana bana lahu va kodana bi amni gamun.
Is there any remover servants in all the His He's the remover of difficulties, safeguard.
I thought it would be lovely to share a story in the Dawnbreakers about the Bab as a little boy. So there's this really beautiful, very touching story in the Dawnbreakers where about the Bab as a schoolboy. So the Bab was, he lost his father. His father passed away when the Bab was a child, and the Bab was raised by his mother and his mother's brother, his uncle, whose name was Haji Mirza Sayyid Ali. And you know, these names that we see in the Dawnbreakers, they come up a lot, and there's you know, sometimes I think for Western readers, the names of the people in the Dawnbreakers can sometimes be, I don't want to say difficult, but just unfamiliar. And you know, perhaps if you're diving into the Dawnbreakers yourselves, you know, I hope that you don't let the names, these unfamiliar names, become any kind of stumbling block to really absorbing the stories from it and benefiting from the Dawnbreakers. But the names, actually, once you get used to the names, they're very, you can kind of decode the meaning of the names. So I thought this would be a good example of decoding the name of the Bab's uncle, just so that we can understand, because these words come up a lot. His name was Haji Mirza Sayyid Ali. So I've been learning how to decode these names, and the first word, Haji, means it's the name given to somebody who has gone on, to a Muslim who has gone on the pilgrimage to Mecca, known as the Hajj. So a Haji is someone who has completed the Hajj. The second name, Mirza, is, I think it's like a kind of honorific, which means something like sir, or maybe even like a little bit higher. Maybe actually, if anybody knows what the meaning of Mirza is, maybe there are some Persian friends out there who could explain what the meaning of that name Mirza is, because it comes up a lot. Maybe you could put it in the comments so that we can get a clearer sense of what that word means. The third word, Sayyid, means, it denotes a person who is a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad. So actually, just like the Bab, he was named Sayyid Ali Muhammad, because he was a descendant of the Prophet. And then finally, the name Ali is the uncle's given name, actually just like the Bab's given name was Ali. So anyway, the uncle of the Bab, into whose care he's placed along with his mother, he arranges for the Bab to go to school under the tuition of a very well-respected school teacher whose name is Sheikh Abid. And the Bab comes into the school, and on his first day of school, he's sitting in class, and the teacher, Sheikh Abid, asks the little boy to recite the opening words of the Quran, which read, "In the name of God, the most merciful, the most compassionate." And the little boy, he says to him that he doesn't want to read these words unless the teacher explains to him what they mean. And the teacher is he finds this kind of a funny response, and he pretends not to know what these words mean. And the Bab says to him, this little boy, he says, "I know what they mean." And the Bab then proceeds to to speak about the opening words of the Quran with such fluency and such profound knowledge, expounding on the deep, mysterious meanings of the word God, the word merciful, the word compassionate. He speaks with such profound insight that Sheikh Abid is just left speechless. And he's so really just flummoxed by the profound knowledge of this little boy that he feels like he can't teach him and he can't keep him in the class. So he actually takes him home to his uncle, and he says to his uncle that this boy there's something remarkable about this boy. He is possessed of such extraordinary knowledge that he has no need for a teacher such as me. And he tells his uncle, please take the utmost care of your nephew, because I don't know what his destiny is, but there is something just extraordinary about him. And the Bab's uncle, who is very busy running his business, he gets very annoyed at the Bab, and he refuses to take him home. He says to him, he tells him to go back to the school, to follow the example of his fellow students, and to listen to his teacher. And so the Bab is taken back to the school, and he sits in the class, but day after day and week after week, more and more of these episodes arise. The soul of this little boy cannot be restrained, and more episodes like this continue to happen where the Bab is he's just bringing these extraordinary insights and these sort of traces of, or signs of a kind of a superhuman knowledge and wisdom that Sheikh Abid eventually insists on taking him home again, and he insists to the Bab's uncle that he really cannot accept to continue teaching this child because he has nothing to teach him. And so finally his uncle resigns to this. He takes the Bab home and he removes him from school and actually then employs him as a kind of apprentice, as a merchant in his own business. And that's the story of how the Bab entered his career as a merchant.
Oh my God, there is no one but thee to allay the anguish of my soul. Thou art my highest aspiration. Oh my God, oh my God, my heart is wedded to none save thee, and such as thou dost love. I solemnly declare my life and death are both for thee. Ooh, they are for you. My heart you. Oh my God, there is no one but thee to allay the anguish of my soul. Thou art my highest aspiration. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Todo louvor a ti, ó meu Deus, que és a origem de toda glória e majestade, grandeza e honra, soberania e domínio, sublimidade e graça, reverência e poder. A quem tu queres fazes aproximar-se do mais grandioso oceano, e a quem desejas concedes a honra de reconhecer teu antiquíssimo nome. Dentre todos os que estão no céu e na terra, ninguém pode obstar a operação da tua vontade soberana. Desde toda a eternidade, reges a criação inteira e para sempre continuarás a exercer teu domínio sobre todas as coisas criadas. Não há outro Deus senão tu, o onipotente, o excelso, o todo-poderoso, o onisciente. Ilumina, ó Senhor, a face de teus servos, para que te possam contemplar, e purifica seus corações, a fim de que se volvam para a corte dos teus favores celestiais, e reconheçam aquele que é o manifestante de ti próprio, e a aurora da tua essência. Em verdade, és o Senhor de todos os mundos, nenhum Deus há a não ser tu, o absoluto, a quem tudo é submisso. Bahá'u'lláh.
Be as a lamp shining forth with the light of the virtues of the world of humanity. Be as a lamp shining forth with the light Turn all your thoughts towards bringing joy to hearts. Be a Baha'i. You must manifest complete love, affection toward all mankind, toward all of mankind. You must manifest complete love, affection toward all mankind, toward all of mankind. Be a Baha'i. Be a Baha'i. Turn all your thoughts towards bringing joy to hearts. Be a Baha'i. Be a Baha'i. Be a Baha'i. Turn all your thoughts towards bringing joy to hearts. Be a Baha'i. Be a Baha'i. Be a Baha'i. Be quickened of God. Be a Baha'i. Be a Baha'i. Be a Baha'i. Be quickened of God. Be a Baha'i. Be illumined. Be a Baha'i. Be spiritual. Be a Baha'i. Be divine. Be glorious. Be a Baha'i. Be illumined. Be a Baha'i. Be spiritual. Be a Baha'i. Be divine. Be glorious. Be a Baha'i. Be glorious. Be a Baha'i.
In the name of the one born on this day, him whom God hath made to be the herald of his name, the Almighty, the All-Loving. This is a tablet we have addressed unto that night, wherein the heavens and the earth were illumined by a light that cast its radiance over the entire creation. Blessed art thou, O night, for through thee was born the day of God, a day which we have ordained to be the lamp of salvation unto the denizens of the cities of names, the chalice of victory unto the champions of the arenas of eternity, and a dawning place of joy and exaltation unto all creation. Immeasurably exalted is God, the maker of the heavens, who hath caused this day to speak forth that name whereby the veils of idle fancy have been rent asunder. The mists of vain imaginings have been dispelled, and his name, the self-subsisting, hath dawned above the horizon of certitude. Through thee the choice wine of everlasting life hath been unsealed. The doors of knowledge and utterance have been unlocked before the peoples of the earth, and the breezes of the All-Merciful have been wafted over every region. All glory be to that hour, wherein the treasure of God, the all-powerful, the all-knowing, the all-wise, hath appeared. O concourse of earth and heaven, this is that first night which God hath made to be a sign of that second night, whereon was born he whom no praise can befittingly extol, and no attribute describe. Well is it with him who reflected upon them both. Verily, he will find their outer reality to correspond to their inner essence, and will become acquainted with the divine mysteries that lie enshrined in this revelation. A revelation through which the foundations of misbelief have been shaken, the idols of superstition have been shattered, and the banner hath been unfurled which proclaimeth, no God is there but him, the powerful, the exalted, the incomparable, the protector, the mighty, the inaccessible. On this night the fragrance of nearness was wafted. The portals of reunion at the end of days were flung open, and all created things were moved to exclaim, the kingdom is God's, the Lord of all names, who is come with word-embracing sovereignty. On this night the concourse on high celebrated the praise of their Lord, the exalted, the most glorious, and the realities of the divine names extolled him who is the King of the beginning and the end in this revelation. A revelation through whose potency the mountains have hastened unto him who is the all-sufficing, the Most High, and the hearts have turned towards the countenance of their best beloved, and the leaves have been stirred into motion by the breezes of yearning, and the trees have raised their voices in joyful reply to the call of him who is unconstrained, and the entire earth had trembled with longing in its desire to attain reunion with the eternal King. And all things have been made new by that concealed word which had appeared in this mighty name. O night of the all-bountiful, in thee do we verily behold the mother book. Is it a book in truth, or rather a child begotten? Nay, by myself, such words pertain to the realm of names, whilst God hath sanctified this book above all names. Through it the hidden secret and the treasured mystery have been revealed. Nay, by my life, all that hath been mentioned pertaineth to the realm of attributes, whereas the mother book standeth supreme above this. Through it have appeared the manifestations of there is no God but God over them all. Nay, while such things have been proclaimed to all people, in the estimation of thy Lord, naught but his ear is capable of hearing them. Blessed are those that are well assured. Whereupon, dumbfounded, the pen of the Most High cried out, O thou who art exalted above all names, I adjure thee by thy might that encompasseth the heavens and the earth, to exempt me from mentioning thee, for I myself have been called into being by virtue of thy creative power. How then can I depict that which all created things are powerless to describe? And yet I swear by thy glory, were I to proclaim that wherewith thou hast inspired me, the entire creation would pass away from joy and ecstasy. How much more then would it be overwhelmed before the billows of the ocean of thine utterance in this most luminous, most exalted and transcendent spot. Absolve, O Lord, this faltering pen from magnifying so august a station, and deal mercifully with me, O my possessor and my king. Overlook then my trespasses in thy presence. Thou verily art the Lord of bounty, the all-powerful, the ever-forgiving, the most generous.